All right, this is hilarious. I'm not going to say the welcome yet because on this episode I'm editing, I epically failed the introduction. So if you want a good laugh, just keep listening, but even more important than a good laugh and watching me stumble over my words and try to, it's like I'm just burning my tires, slowly, I don't know, gaining traction, losing control there a little bit. But finally we bit in and started gaining momentum. And I mean, I'm only human, but I just feel bad because I want to do Terry and Nina justice. They're an amazing couple, and I really felt their spirit and all the good they are trying to do in this world. And folks, it's no secret, we still have it very blessed here in America. I really wanted to capture, and this is what is crucial, and I believe we did pretty good. However, there's only so much we can really cover and move the needle on in a singular conversation. But I really wanted to capture the level of tyranny our fellow brothers and sisters in Canada are dealing with. It is painful to see. It's painful to see what's happening here on our soil. It's painful to see what's happening in Australia and all over the globe. And I'm going to have more Canadians on because we're all fighting the same battle. And everything, the tyranny that's happening there that hasn't gone as serious here, they're trying to enact it, and they're trying to do it here as well. So with real stories, real life experience, we're honing in and exposing that tyranny and the direct threats that are applied to Canadians and Americans alike. So please sit back, enjoy the stumble sesh, and stay tuned. This is an amazing podcast. They have so much to share with you. All right, we got it. We good? Terry, Nina, I want to thank you. You're freaking awesome. I can't wait to listen to this whole conversation. Let's kick it off. Welcome to a muzzled chat. Okay, I say I'm excited too often. However, I'm psyched about this hangout, this conversation, especially. This is a first. We're actually gonna do a full-blown episode with 3 people right here on a muzzle chat. So I just met you two, and I feel like we're brother and sister. We actually spent Resurrection Day, Easter together.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna welcome in Terry and Nina. Welcome to a muzzle chat. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Really great. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
God is so good. It was really cool. So you attend a church my best friend goes to, and I've been to, and it's a great church.
Yep.
And it's just so cool. I don't know how God has a way of putting amazing people together, right? And for good reason. And we just had amazing conversation regarding this crazy world and life we're living in. And so I feel like, all right, I just need to calm. I need to center. How do we want to go about this? So Terry and Nina here are Canadians. Yep. And you've come to America, and I don't want to see you guys leave, because given our conversations, you're, how do we say it? You're in the know.
Yeah.
Like, you're informed. You have big hearts. You want a better, brighter future. You can see evil and the impact it's having all around. And it's scary, but you're amazing, positive people that I can... I honestly, this is the first time I actually feel like kicking this off a second time, because I'm just tripping up so much. This is the first time.
Just so excited to see us and have us, I guess.
We've never had somebody be so excited about us.
I don't feel I've done you two justice. So I'll honestly let it up to you. You can tell me right now, let's re-kick it off, or let's just continue.
I'm good either way. Like, I don't need justice. I just need, we want to, have a good conversation with you. So if it's, kind of leave it up to you, whether it's...
Tell our story.
God's here with us either way. So
right.
And what I think an interesting thing that I've noticed is just constantly noticing the differences. Like, we share the same continent, but we're two different countries that share the border and everything, but there are these nuances, there are these differences that we keep picking up on every day that we've been here for the last 3 months, and things that you wouldn't notice living here in this country. And it's really cool to be here and have that objective point of view for 3 months, like I said. So yeah,
I love that. Well, now there's a lot, but it's really cool coming off of Resurrection Day, how we can just give it all over to God. Yeah. And he's just there to take that burden from us to where we can walk with peace, happiness, clarity, but not be ignorant or cowardice to what is going on around us, and doing our part in a positive way.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about yourselves. You're born, raised in Canada. What brought you here? How long are you going to be here? Why, just
Sure.
Yeah. It'd be awesome to...
You want to start off there?
Sure. I mean, we were both born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We've been there our whole lives, and we've seen, a lot of changes over the last 45 years. I'm giving my age away.
Oh, you're good.
But just so many changes, and just like a lot of civil unrest, a lot of concerns, a lot of at times just like pure panic in the last 4 years. And the way that we've lived our lives is just, different, especially being, faith-based. We just are naturally just sort of different. So there's just been a loss of faith in our country, a loss of just like things that actually were never even really there to begin with, that we've been craving over the last 45 years that we haven't had or felt or have gotten. And so our line of thinking coming out here is just sort of like, well, is there patriotism? Is there nationalism? Is it bad? Is it, are we just going crazy? Is Canada just going crazy, and everybody we know just sort of going into a coma? Even though some of us are on the same page,
right?
Family, friends, there's still just this weird, palatable but unexplainable disconnect. And it's just like,
well said.
Where is that? What is that? Where is that coming from?
You're acknowledging something very profound right there. You're hitting the nail on the head. And I keep talking to people around me. They're my general consensus. I see this level of deterioration, not just on abilities, but just general awareness and discernment. Like, we've lost so much. I mean, help me articulate that a little.
Yeah, I just a connectivity, and then I think we kind of chatted about it there on Sunday a little bit, just in terms of the, you have a hard time knowing who's with you and who's against you, and I think, and we found that here, coming down here and being here for almost 3 months now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're heading back up to Canada here on Friday, but we're praying and hoping God will give us the opportunity to come back here again next year and stay for a little bit again. So, but yeah, definitely something we've seen here is there's definitely more connectivity in the U.S. than there is in Canada. I find in Canada, even, as Nina was saying, people who you are on the same page with, there's a fear of speaking about that to a certain level. Like, you might go to go to church in Calgary, and it might be, you might not trust or know who's on the same page with you, even though we all believe in Jesus and we all follow that. We can't trust that we're all seeing the world the way it is either.
Well,
right?
There's a fear now because there seems to be, it's so tyrannical that there can actually be negative outcomes to speaking out and all of this. I mean, yeah, now you're transitioning already into like barriers that clearly have been established, like, that need to come down to even acknowledge what is happening around us. But yeah, back just to cover that point, I know some of the things that have led to the deteriorated state to just being blind, essentially just these innocent frogs like in that pot of hot water with it slowly getting turned up, is like, we are obviously more intelligent than that frog in that analogy, but it's effectively been done to a very dramatic point. And I'm sitting here scratching my head, what has allowed it to get to this point? And I believe that through pulling God out of things, and that's lost. So the spiritual side of things and those gifts has led a lot to it. But then also, like, our health is deteriorated, and I don't feel we're as resilient and as we've talked about, from the food, the water, the air, inoculations, the pandemic, and that's something we could dive into, because it sounds like Canada got extreme with the COVID jab. Like, I can't believe the tyranny over body autonomy and freedom. Like, whether even if it was something in fact good, the way they went about it, no, there's no good. You gotta reserve the right of choice. You lose that, you're not a free people at all. It's just a delusion. So we got to address some of these things, I know, so people could build up that resilience within themselves to start becoming the solutions to more so their issues than essentially part of the problems, and just perpetuating like the issues. So I'm glad we dove into, touched on some very powerful things there. But as you were saying, man, it's getting bad. It's getting bad up there. What do you suppose, like, why is it you believe Canada has become so tyrannical? Like, what are some of the reasons you feel it's gotten to this point?
Yeah. Do you want to answer that first?
Well, I think some of the reasons it's gotten to this point.
Yeah.
Oh, I think a lot of it has to do with our election, I guess, close to 8 years ago now, is we had Stephen Harper in, who was a conservative, and it was just, you took that for granted. It was about common sense, and we had just sort of a normal environment. And then as soon as people thought, the grass is going to be so much greener on the other side, that we've got Trudeau in there and his lineage and all the reasons he shouldn't have been voted in, he was voted in. And we shuddered that night that he was voted. Like, we literally bawled and cried because he was going on and on about sunny days, and you could just tell by his speech and his demeanor and his eyes, and it was just a complete lie that so many people bought into, and it was just terrifying and frightening. And from that day on, like, it's just gone slowly more and more and more downhill.
Do you feel that was a fair election? Or do you suppose, was there red flags?
No, I don't think so.
I think it was a fair election.
I think it was fair. It's just I think, I mean, again, the way we see it is, a lot of the young generation that was just starting to vote at that time, they see a young man that, is, whatever, call him, he's well dressed and well put together from an image perspective, right? And so he came across to the young generation like he cares about the young generation, he cares about you, and he's hip and has the right terminology, right? And I think we have a very immature generation that's currently growing up, and they have a lack of experience, a lack of hardships. I mean, I can't even say for myself that I didn't grow up with a pretty good, life. We didn't have, there's pretty much no wars in the time that I've been, growing up, and, we haven't experienced that event that draws us together either. Right. So I think, when you have nothing to worry about except for, what color you want to add to the rainbow or whatever it is, right? Like, you're...
Do you suppose it's getting to a point now? Because, I mean, there's a lot to be said about, like, the misdirection, the war machine that's effectively used from evil, like, mainstream media, the way it manipulates minds, especially younger, less mature minds. I mean, it's so wild how wildly sourcing information's becoming crucial in this information age. Like, sourcing it, like, so, and people here all over are still slowly, coming around to all of that, and it's just so wild to see so many of the same. We're fighting the same battle. Here it's globalism. It's the World Economic Forum. It's these tyrannical groups out there that essentially are infiltrating government parties to where they're buying out, or there's all sorts of things that are happening behind closed doors, right? Like, there's bribes, threats, blackmailing, you name it. But it just seems like here, there, these now government bodies essentially are just utilized as puppets, to fulfill bigger things.
Yeah. I mean, we were listening to a podcast on our way here, just talking about how, they're saying Canada, there's some secret documents from the RCMP talking about, how, we're going into a major recession and things are going to get worse in Canada. We're already, our average salaries are $18,000 less a year than Americans, and our house prices are the same as San Francisco. And I mean, that's not not necessarily everywhere, but definitely in the major cities. It's getting away. Even in Calgary, where we live, like the price of homes in the last,
there's got to be momentum though, because with the trucker convoy, with some of the protests I've seen, where even then the police and certain groups were used as like the Gestapo, essentially, to shut things down and put fear back into the people, to not let your grievances get addressed, or so people back them into corners to where you didn't feel comfortable. Like there's that battle happening now with censorship and everything, and we'll dive into some of those facts, like even potentially imprisoning people speaking biblical scripture, and truth, like that. There's some hard lines being crossed now. But do you feel like the younger gen and everything, that there seems to be momentum and awakening?
I don't know. I mean, I know you're shaking your head. No,
But you're seeing that more so here in America, which gives you hope to an extent. I mean, what?
With the people that we've met here and the age group that we've met, we haven't hung out with millennials too much, or post millennials. We've more hung out with, Generation X, boomers, maybe little bit older. So to get a pulse on that at this point would be difficult. But in Canada, from what I can see anyways, with the millennials and the post millennials, and is that I think they've lost hope, and they just want to be quiet, and they just want to either bury their head in the ground, start an addiction, pretend things aren't happening, or they might be more like our kids. They might be more like, just work as much as you can, save as much money as you can, because they feel something coming down the pipes. They feel it, and it's overwhelming, but they don't necessarily want to talk about it.
See, once again, that highlights and kind of proves that we've lost resilience. Yeah. Because you look at times past, right. I mean, kings and queens, like throughout history, at some point, like it's like the people get oppressed to a point, like it breaches the precipice, and then they revolt, and it's to a point, like if we don't start standing our ground, like it's scary small boxes we're talking about here, and so many freedoms being infringed upon, that it's going to be harder and harder to right the ship. We're literally like it's just that adage where it's like a lot easier to fight for the freedoms you still got than the ones you've lost.
That's right.
And it was interesting you say that too, because I remember, like, so our premier in Alberta, Danielle Smith, she was on the radio before she became premier, and she was talking about this in COVID. Like, there's this line that we're crossing, and if we don't stop it now,
right,
it's going to be too far gone. And I think
because you'll lose your voice entirely.
And I think she's, right after that, she became, like, she fought to get back into politics in Alberta, and she's become the premier now. So, which is, for, I guess, all the U.S. viewers, it's more like your governors here. But that's, anyway, she's done a really good job, and she's trying to turn the tables in Alberta anyways. But it's an uphill battle for sure at this point, and it may I think in Canada we've almost crossed that line of no return. It's the economy is going to crash. At some point right. we see it in the writing on the wall, right? Like, things, they're expensive here, but in Canada, just the way it's going, and the dollar, our dollar is just, and the way they print money, like, I think, my understanding is you guys printed $2 trillion.
Unbelievable.
And we printed $500 billion.
Right.
And your population is 10 times ours. So, we printed 2.5 times more per capita than you guys did for your guys. So, it's the amount of money we're printing. It's not, at some point something crashes, right? So
it shows that, like, in my eyes, the West Central banks and the whole Federal Reserve, this whole, it's a corrupt, debted system. That's, I feel, the backbone evil's been really stood up their empire on,
Yep.
right? And that's why we cannot be fooled moving forward into some type of centralized digital currency like they're trying to do that will lead to the mark of the beast and entire tyrannical control, because they can seize assets. They can, they can integrate the carbon and all this, all these hoaxes, right, to really put us in a smaller box. And it's insane that people are actually taking those talking points, and that evil's effectively preying on heartstrings, like who doesn't care about Mother Earth, as though that is the solution, as though that is the issue, as though, and it's like, no, it's corrupted as heck. We could blow holes in that every angle, tear the foundation out from underneath it. But once again, it's like people have lost that resilience to do their due diligence, do their homework. Like they've effectively ramped up the fear to a point we're just accepting the shackles.
Yep.
And it's a lot to go over, but it's beautiful to talk and dive into, because it's when you step back and look at the big picture. And I could just dive in and play instead of ending on it, but today's biblical verse from the YouVersion Bible app, and that amazing scripture of our battle not being of the flesh, of spirits and principalities, countries, all that, it really doesn't matter. But what we can see, I believe, a lot as to why the tyranny is going so well in Canada. I mean, they disarmed the populace to a huge extent. Right? That's why they're fighting tooth and nail here. It's why they just passed some weird red flag laws that I need to look into more details where that could start obviously infringing upon people's Second Amendment right, which would lead to that same. So I believe, kind of like that comment you even mentioned the other day when we spent that amazing Resurrection Day together, where you were like, in a way, you expressed, like, not that you were banking on, but you were reaching out for the USA in a way to come to aid to the Canadians in some way or another, because you can see, and maybe dive into that, because that could breathe light into, hopefully, Americans to not give up an inch. In fact, get back some ground. And the thing is, if anywhere, any country starts leading by example, which is happening, the farmers in the UK, and I mean, it's cool to see enough is enough, and people are standing their ground, because it only takes no country necessarily has to sit back and kind of expect anyone to ride in on a white horse, that we ourselves can assemble, and it only takes like 10% of a people or a populace to really enact change or a complete overhaul in the infrastructure of things. Like, it's not that much, but we above all must keep the ability of like communication and things, and that's why I'm such an avid supporter of Rumble, podcast apps, and these social media platforms that are still supporting free speech. But they're fighting tooth and nail, and I know that's one of Trudeau's main missions, is to keep the Canadians in the dark. They're still putting a very pretty bow on things, as though, and they're gaslighting. They're lying through their teeth. I could play the clips where when they speak out on censorship, that no, this is not at all what we're doing, and it's such a pretty well crafted bow that I could see how people can end up gaslit and just be like, oh yeah, someone starts speaking out against, like, what are you, some terrorist? You know, and oh, it's what a tough one, huh?
Oh yeah, they definitely, they've got a really good spin on it for sure, and that's, I think, why they're able to to attract so many people to the lies that they're speaking, right? Because I
Right.
mean,
Well, that's how they attracted so many millennials to vote for Trudeau, is bleeding heart.
Mm.
Who doesn't want more compassion? You know, like, who doesn't want more empathy? But if you have compassion out of control and you become a bleeding heart, and then, you know, compassion quickly turns into enabling and quickly turns into lies and cover-ups, and they can use compassion as a bow on just about anything. And we're a very docile country. We've never had a civil war. We're a melting pot of a whole bunch of different people and religions and ideas, and so we're taught from a very young age to be nice. But now that niceness has taken on a really ugly split tongue kind of
Right.
effect, and it's really fake and nefarious and hard for, I think, the millennials and post millennials to understand. And the second you're not compassionate enough, well, then you're a racist or a bigot, and you're not towing the line, and you're not evolving into this new
Call me
future.
all the words. I'll take them all as a badge of honor
I
at this
know.
point. You
Yeah.
know, it's like,
Right,
can you
yeah.
define that? Could you break it down? Could you explain that?
Yeah.
You know, because most of the time when they're just regurgitating those type of things, they themselves, by definition, are more so the ones fulfilling the very thing they're
Yes.
projecting on the other party.
Exactly.
So it's kind of ludicrous, and we got to see past the insanity, but then again, also, like, somehow keep this, you know, kind of that Christ heart. But
yeah,
that's the problem. It's like they preyed upon, like, kind of the Christian heart in a huge way, as though being tolerant is what's most loving. And
Yep.
we've been gaslit in a huge way, where in fact, no,
yeah,
like, that biblically isn't even correct.
no,
To the point we've allowed harm to come to our children.
yes,
You know, it becomes very clear. So I think, like, there's enough out there right now to really create the proper momentum across the globe. It's just, how do we gather the information, articulate the words, like one-stop shop, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what we're trying to connect enough dots for people here.
Yep.
But, you know, it's very difficult to do.
Yep.
Like,
For
it's
sure.
easier said than done. Luckily, there's a lot of patriots out there that are bringing the receipts as well.
Yeah.
And I guess we just got to get people, plant seeds to start sourcing information and looking into things.
Yep.
yeah,
And then you can start to see the wolf in sheep's
In sheep's
clothing.
clothing,
Yeah.
Right? Like, I hate how evil has been so cunning.
yeah.
Like, because initially, yeah, Trudeau had that image. Now, I mean, I just see, like, it, I don't know, makes my skin crawl. It's like, I see,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see and feel the essence of evil
Well,
there.
and our hope is that that's what people are seeing more in
Yeah.
him nowadays. I mean, like I said, I mean,
You know what? It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Right here. Sean Strickland. This has been on there. The Canadian outpouring, like, response even to this man going there and fighting
yeah,
shows a lot. The
Yeah.
trucker convoys show a lot.
Yeah.
There is a lot of momentum happening.
yeah,
There's just a lot of, they're just ramping up what they can to suppress that.
yeah. Well, and I mean, you know, bringing up what you're saying about us looking to the U.S. for help in that way, it's like, you know, you look at somebody like Sean Strickland, right? You know, he comes up to Canada, he says something. You look at Tucker Carlson, he comes up to Canada and he's making statements. Those people aren't, they, you know, Trudeau can't.
Pastors locked away.
Yeah. We
You
had in Calgary, we had
That's
Archer
right.
Pulowski, we had another fellow, I think is Tim something. I
Yep.
can't remember what his last name was.
Edmonton.
And there was another pastor in Edmonton, near Edmonton, that their entire church was shut down.
To
so.
any Canadians listening, they can't lock you all up.
Yeah.
Yep.
They can't. Okay?
Not all at once.
Link arms. But more than that, to all Americans, you got to see the impact, the slow drip, the slow cranking up, how like we need in masses to hop out, assist people out, and shut the freaking stove off.
Yeah.
Like we have to.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not even an option.
and that's why we're thankful for those Americans that are coming up and saying stuff, because you know, you look at the trucker convoy, you look at all the people that, you know, were behind that and moved that forward and did what they did, and it was amazing, and the amount of support they had, yet you know, somehow our government has enough control and power now to shut that entire thing down, to take bank accounts away.
Yes.
And the fear that puts in people when your government has that power to close your bank account and say you can't buy anything.
Yep.
I mean,
that's an actual threat. Like you feel that. You feel if you were to kick this off there or something, it would be a matter of time. They'd either come lock you up.
Yep.
Or they'd start with your bank accounts. Like what do you do? Yeah.
Well, even as we're speaking right now, I mean, I'm doing this either way, but I was reading about the Online Harms Act a little bit, and we have an amazing lawyer in Canada who understands our legal system probably better than anyone, in my opinion, and we've met him personally a couple of times.
I'd love to have him on.
John Carmpeo, maybe we could get you in touch with him, but you probably could just reach out to him. But anyways, he was saying that one of the things that we really need to, you know, be aware of is that it's not just the Online Harms Acts coming into effect right now, and it's like anything you say from that date on, it would be retroactive. So we're doing this right now. If that gets passed, there is like, I'm doing this anyways, but there is a lot of fear. Yeah, because like this could come back on us later because it would be retroactive. So,
I mean, to that one, even though that gentleman's message about being for sale, you know, like what you're or putting your life on the line, it's one of those things. Like, I mean, it pains me. It's gotten to a point. It even involves women taking a stance because us men, we failed.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
We've failed. We've been far too comfortable and self-serving and selfish that you know, I mean, but there's just so much opportunity. The time is here and now. And that's what's wild. It's tough to have, and I know it seems kind of dark in a way, but when you step back, it's like I only have my life to give. Yeah. And we're all visiting. 10 out of 10 people ain't going to make it. Yeah. We're all going to meet the same, you know, physical, our time's limited, right? Yeah. And that's where the Bible comes into play. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And like, so I see these stances, your courage, like, is the only way. It's a beautiful opportunity, you know, to just do our part. And once again, can't arrest us all. So that just is a bigger call to more Canadians and Americans to start championing these narratives on behalf of each other. Yeah. So that it just can't get to that point. We to where, because I don't want to hear about that day about you guys. I'm going to have to be that much crazier. What am I going to have to do? You know, come up there. Freaking go Rambo. Like, I'm telling you.
Well, I probably shouldn't say that on here, but you know.
I mean, we're almost. Hey, you know what? I like how Stu Peters says it a lot. Like, a militia isn't a bad thing. It's in fact, like it's a crucial part of history. It's a right, and you know, in one way, like in our very Constitution, it states like at the point we have an infiltrated or corrupted body, like we're derelict in our duties as citizens to not abolish. So whatever it takes, you know, and it's clear as day. Yeah. And we're infiltrated. Like we're already an occupied country. It is clear. They're taking direct action against we the people. Essentially what's happening with people crossing over illegal. So they're not just illegal alien, they're criminals, illegal criminals in our country.
Yep.
And the stats are being like prove that what's happening to, I mean, because it's mainly men that are so who end up mostly the victim, the women and the children.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's sickening. That's a call to action to all U.S. men. Like, why are we accepting that? It is not anything else that, you know, the mainstream media is trying to gaslight you into. Like, you can see the uptick, and it's by design. And there's multiple aspects and layers to this nefarious plan and just destroying the backbone of this country, which is it. You know what? That kind of ties into what you were touching on too, as far as history here in America and Canada, because they're trying to kill the patriotic American.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's essentially what they're trying to diminish and water it down.
Yep.
And you have enough criminals, illegal criminals here. You're doing just that.
Yep.
Obviously, and they're passing like it's so ludicrous because it's they have this whole anti-gun movement, right?
Yep.
Happening, trying to infringe upon that, but they've already in some states passed legislation that allows illegals to obtain possession of firearms by legal means.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like if that just doesn't tell you right there how corrupt, how evil, how they're liars. They're liars. Everything they're projecting. Like, I don't know what will.
Yeah. No, it really requires us all to wake up and see what's going on in the world around us, because we are, you know, I mean, it doesn't take long either, right? Like, you know, we've had Trudeau in power since 2015 or 2016, and the amount of damage he's done in 8 years to our country, the amount of debt that he's put everybody into, everything he's doing.
8 years? How long is it run for? How does it work?
He can go as long as he wants.
As long as he wants.
You can, in Canada.
We need that freaking, I'll say it, that asshat out of there yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, how do we do that?
Yeah. Well,
how do we do that?
I don't know. I think there is
It's
a
complicated.
recall legislation that you could recall.
He's been caught doing so many insane things,
And that
money related.
I mean, that crossed my mind, right? Because, you know,
most people would have been locked up.
Yeah. Stephen Harper, one of the main reasons why people turned away from him is because one of his MPs or whatever, I think they frauded out $200,000 or something like that. Mike Duffy. Yeah.
Wow.
And $200,000. And you look at the amount of money that Trudeau has been found guilty of, passing out to, the SNC Lavalins of the world and things like that, and the corruption that he's been caught in, and the amount of money that he's been, and we just don't, like, it's so either covered up or just, again, to your point of the information is being hidden, in other places, right? You don't get it from mainstream. You have to find the truth about what he's doing. And so
through independently funded reporters, and one of the ones that we like to support the most in Canada is Rebel News. And Rebel News, and they're being attacked probably more than any group.
They based in Canada then?
Oh yeah. Rebel News is 100% Canadian.
I think I got them right here on my Rumble.
Funded. Ezra and their reporters are amazing, and Trudeau's been going after them tooth and nail since he's been in power. So they're constantly sending their reporters to jail, attacking them, fining them. They're the only real main
Americans don't even understand that's happening here.
People.
Like left and right.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a matter of time. If I'm effective enough on what I'm doing here, it's only a matter of time.
That's right.
But like, gosh dang, we need the calls to action where people could vote every single day with their clicks views, likes, dollar bills, Canadians, Americans, all one and the same. Support companies
Yes.
that share the same morals
Values.
and values, that understand. Like, I can't believe this vet shop down the street here actually, he had a Biden Harris sticker on his truck, and then now he's got this anti-Trump sign, and it's silly, but it's I ended up doing a very telling Google review, because reviews are huge. And
Right.
it's like, and I even have a dog issue right now, and I would probably use it if he wasn't
Yeah.
a fool,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, hey, if you're unaware, like, if you're happy with the deteriorated state of our country falling apart, by all means support this clinic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're not, just to let you know, this individual is all about the current establishment, and he still doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So just little things like that, every little thing we can do. But I mean, it is getting just so bad that
Well, and we, and that's, I find, like, I've had some conversations with some people down in the States here about, just about that, right? And I mean, there's a, a low kind of simmer going on for civil war and stuff like that down here for sure. But, I think, one thing we have to be careful of is that we don't jump to war as the solution,
Right.
before we do things like, where is your money going? What are you
Yes.
spending
That's
your money
right.
on? What
Yes.
are you,
What are you
where,
supporting?
what are your dollars going to? Are they going to companies that support, the agenda of,
Right.
of the elites? Are they going to, companies that don't, that don't have a good moral value kind of direction, right? And so speak with your money and speak with your, with your words, and, and hopefully if we do that, and enough of us do that, that these companies will flounder and fail, and, and then the businesses that are doing the right thing will come up and be strong. And those are the businesses that we want to support, and those businesses will support people who in
100%.
power that will make changes to where things are going, right? And
Right.
maybe it's too late, but it's never too late to do the right thing, right? So
Right. Well, I mean, it's just awesome to see Strickland, Tucker, all that. Like, we need to all find our voice. We need to all get our resilience back. Like, it's wild amongst all this. What's given me this strength, that's kicked fear in the butt. Like, the only healthy fear there is fear of God.
yeah.
But that's healthy, because like
Yes.
that actually, we won't dive. I tried articulating that the other day. It's tricky, but it's one I used to actually biblically struggle with,
Yeah.
because there's 365 scriptures. Ooh, that was sharp. One for each day of the year. That's fear not. So every time it would reference like fearing God, I'd have a problem with that. It would irk me.
Right.
But that was a man of little faith.
Yes.
I didn't get it,
Yeah.
right? And it's not the fear, is you fear other things. It's totally different.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it mysterious, because people could find that out for themselves. And
Yeah.
when you do, it's beautiful.
100%.
So we've been sounding the alarm on a lot of the things, like, guys, so not only with voting, like upping your resilience. So you should question, should I drink this? Should I eat this? And ignorance is not bliss.
Yes.
Do your due diligence. And the more you can get, like, cut out toxins and actually replace it with nutritional things that your body thrives on, you will also up, like,
Yeah.
wow, your energies and abilities everywhere else. And then the demonic side too has an impact, but like spiritually, to get the armor of God, right?
Yeah.
Biowarfare is no joke either.
No.
Lyme disease is a big thing up there in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the third person I've met that's had it now, but the other two are from Canada that I've met who've struggled with it immensely. And
Wow.
yeah, there's a lot of strange things going on. And, 5 years ago, if you told me this or told me that, I might say it was a conspiracy, or I might say, that sounds a little strange. But you go through COVID, and
Right.
the protests we went to and all the things that we did to fight against the tyranny that was going on. It's like, well, now anything's possible. Like if a pink elephant flew by, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty normal.
Right.
Like nothing
See,
is
that's
off
healthy.
the table now, because you just have to have such a clarity and such a sharp critical thinking mind now. And I think that's a huge difference between maybe our generation and the generation of the millennials and post millennials below, or that are people that are younger than us, is that we were taught and got extra marks and extra grades and extra like praise from our teachers for having a critical thinking mind. Like, we went to school together. We met in high school and got married shortly after high school. But I just remember getting extra marks from teachers because, we'd write these essays, and we'd get extra marks for having a critical thinking mind.
Wow.
And now, like, our kids have just gone through school. They're 19 and 21, and they're actually getting in trouble for having
That's
a critical
messed
thinking
up.
mind.
That's
They'll end up in the
huge-
office or with
wow.
detention, or they really are. That's a whole nother topic, but they really are being brainwashed from
Right.
wee little kids, and
Wow.
it's getting worse and worse and worse. And those kids don't have a chance to understand freedom or critical thinking, and they'll have no
See,
autonomy.
you're onto something there. Versus, because there's so many different angles. We could go the political route. We could go, but the thing is, that's what their bullhorn mainstream media has weaponized the most. It's polarized the most. So a lot of these angles, you anti-Trudeau, you may lose them right out the gate. Or the health side of things, you might lose them right out the gate. But or the spiritual side of it, same thing. But to maybe have a rational discussion is to like, I don't know, trying to show like that this side of things is essentially forcing and giving you, and it's feeding an entitlement and a pride and an ego and just regurgitating talking points, and it's just repetitive. It's just this thing, my way or the highway. Like we've lost our natural rebellion to that. Like ever since a kid, it was like, you tell me not to do something, like, please, because I'm gonna go do it now, right? Like, for sure, the harder you tell me, like, now for sure.
Yeah.
But we've like lost that, and that's like a huge divide, because so much from the other side isn't that. It's just compiling information, it's discussing things, it's having those rational discussions and trying to get to the bottom of things. And a lot of it can be wrong, but a lot of them that are humbled will apologize, will admit wrongdoing, or, oh, hey, I actually found it's more this, right? But at the end of all of that, it's like, don't take my word for it, do your own research. And that's beautiful, and we need to get back to that. And that's where the more we do question things, because what is it like that created this know-it-all syndrome, fine line in the sand, as though this jab is going to save grandma, even like to where you can't even see through your own hypocrisy. It was like, wait a sec, if it in fact was good for you and going to protect you, and grandma has it, then why does anyone else need it? She's protected.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But we're not even connecting those dots.
No.
It's irrational. It's Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And the more they jab people, and the more they put things into food and inoculations that are, all these things that they're doing, I think is designed to like fog your mind.
Right.
And so, you know,
Yes.
you made a point about nutrition, and I think more than ever, we've got to up our game on nutrition. We've got to
100%.
we've got to start doing those push-ups. We've got to start,
Yeah.
you know, working our bodies out and just having that immune system and have the survival of the fittest in a sense. And that's going to also give us clarity of mind.
Yes.
And if we have clarity of mind, then we have a better connection with God, the creator of the universe, and we're just going to have more potential to move forward with that clarity. But I think if they're dumbing everything down, like the food we eat, what we watch online, it just turns into this depression and, you know, this fog.
Right.
And it's just,
We're
you
becoming
see it
zombies.
happening.
Yeah.
Zombies
Zombie
and
apocalypse.
robots. We're
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
just.
Exactly. And
Our
I,
daughter's
gotta
like
break
nuts
that.
about, she's like, oh, she always wants to meet zombies, and like there's this obsession
We're
that
there.
this generation
Yeah,
has
yeah,
with zombies.
exactly.
And it's so interesting.
Right.
Because one of the pamphlets that I got my hands on in Canada that was about the vaccine is they were implementing the goodness of the COVID vaccine with this short little comic book about zombies.
Interesting.
And if you read between
Yeah.
the lines, my daughter showed it to me and she's like, look at this. Like if you read between the lines with this, it's telling you that in fact it's not going to help you. It's actually going to do
Right.
the opposite. And you look at kids on the bus.
It
and
explains a
they're-
lot as
they're
to
zombie
why
state,
some
yeah.
people are still, let's just say, like wearing face diapers.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Or
thinking.
watching that at the host there on Sunday, the New York thing,
Oh.
the Easter celebration in New York City, and it's just
Unbelievable.
I was just baffled to see the number of people still throwing on masks, and it's mass hysteria or
Mass psychosis,
psychosis, yeah.
social
Yeah.
conditioning,
Yeah.
manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
don't understand. Like they're just like from a very little age with the way that I think one of the biggest things that we can do,
Right.
getting back to like some of the solutions, take your kids out of school.
Yes.
Take your kids out of school. Eat organic food or grow it your damn
Right.
self, or find a farmer or somebody
Right.
that you can actually have real food with,
Right.
and take your kids out of school, because they're being just like in Canada it's really bad. I don't know how bad it is here in the US,
It's
but
pretty
they are
darn
totally
bad.
being brainwashed.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, there was one episode recently on Charlie Kirk that did really good job.
Mm.
And it was a California mother
Mm.
and what they were doing without her knowing,
Yeah.
and grooming and the hypersexualization of a child, which
Yeah.
is pedophilia in my book.
Oh, 100%.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, it's insane. We touched on it, like my dog bites your child, we put it down,
That's right.
right?
Yep.
And there's a whole list of people. We could talk doctors, we could talk counselors, teachers, yes, even parents.
Yeah.
You take a child in to get their body sexually mutilated, perfectly good breasts chopped
Yep.
off, other genitalia chopped off. Like, I'm sorry, that is beyond child abuse.
Yep.
It's no longer a custody issue.
Yep.
You're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
30 years ago, you would have
Absolutely.
you would have had
You
your
would've
child
been
taken away from you.
thrown in jail. For
well,
that.
beyond that,
Yeah.
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 Old Yeller treatment, like
Yeah.
you're like, that's psychotic. Like, it's an issue. Now, I get how people have been manipulated to believe as though that's loving and affirming care because they've been socially conditioned so far away from not even biblical truth, but basic human biology.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, they're not even looking at the real big picture information that, like the detransitioners right here in this country alone, it's already, and it's only, they don't even have all the data compiling it all because it's all so new. It's over 50,000 and proven statistically. So if it's on behalf of, because they use these crazy catchy phrases to the parents, well, do you want your child to die?
Yeah.
Commit
They're gonna
suicide.
kill
That's
themselves.
right.
Yeah.
Well, statistically, it's 25% uptick of suicide to the
Right.
children that transition.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Over 25%.
Yeah.
So it's just evil.
Yeah.
All of it's evil.
Yeah.
And doesn't belong around children. And the reality, there's a clip that just got sent that I was like, all right, that's it. I'm moving to Russia. Or, but I was like, no, better yet, we'll have it here, because this Russian gal is speaking out on how they don't allow any of that. Like the alphabet mafia doesn't exist in Russia because they'd be ostracized. They'd be laughed out of the city, streets, like City Hall. Like it's just not a thing. And it's cool how they've kept those values, and it's fine. Like they're like, you still have the freedom behind closed doors or whatever you want to do. You got the freedom. Go do your thing.
Do it behind closed doors then.
Right.
Nobody else needs to know about it at the very least.
See, that's just the thing. Like there's private things in life like you just wouldn't do.
Well, I don't
go publicize.
I don't go around claiming I'm a heterosexual.
No.
Not, this is the lunacy behind it.
It's sacred. It's private. And if you really believe that's exactly how you want to be, then why does it have to be so public?
Yeah, it's wild.
If you're fulfilled in your sexuality and you really think that's how you're supposed to be, then it is a private thing. Why does it need to be celebrated and plastered and now worshipped?
We hadn't evolved as fast as the technologies evolved. We're all experiments, but there's been brilliant minds and think tanks and funds that have gone behind all of this to mess us up.
Yeah.
And so much of it we've taken hook, line, and sinker. Yeah. And it goes beyond this. It's even in our sports. It's in Hollywood. It's in the children's films. Obviously, education systems, government. So we've just really lost a healthy momentum.
Yeah,
we've lost touch with reality.
Right.
We've gone disillusional.
Right. Well, with all that, I would there's that analogy. It's like, oh, where's your heart? It's like based in reality. Okay. We're on that cliff's edge or 100-story building, whatever, just somewhere high.
Yeah.
Someone thinks they're a bird.
Yeah.
Someone thinks they can fly. Yeah. I'm sorry. It is not most loving to affirm them and give them extra boost on their not so safe flight.
Yeah.
Right?
Fly.
In fact, in reality, you'd be accomplice to murder.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So it's more loving to stay based in reality. Yeah. Okay? And it breaks my heart because the most beautiful thing, they're diminishing the most beautiful thing we have.
Yes.
It's the union behind the two sexes, the only two sexes. Yeah. I don't even like playing the whole gender, but there's male and female. Yeah. And that's the only way when that comes together, we can create life. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And but it is a the way I see it is it's all about trying to pull God, trying to make God not exist, right? And I mean, we can't do that, but the elites and the people behind all of this, I believe they can take God out of humanity because they look at themselves like they are a God, and so why wouldn't they try and take the real God out of it? And so you destroy man and woman or male and female the way God created us. You've taken, you're destroying.
You've accomplished so many destructive things.
You have, right? And it's
a ripple effect.
I mean, it's, you can't take him away, but you can definitely destroy. I mean, you look at the rainbow, right? What did they do to the rainbow that God created?
Right.
They've turned it into something, distorted and disgusting. Mm-hmm. But it's, so you take away the rainbow, you take away male and female, you
Christ Resurrection Day and dilute that, right?
And dilute that, right? So you take everything that represents God's love for us,
right,
and you turn it into something else, and enough people may turn away and say, I don't even know who God is anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, and
if someone has questions, like this man has been so powerful to me lately. I need to actually, it's Cliff Christian. He's got, I've saved so many. Oh, look, and he pops up. I'm just trying to verify, folks. But if you haven't found Christ and you don't believe, like, he goes on these college campuses. I don't know if he's a professional. I'm going to be diving into things, but he's such a gifted man in speaking just biblical truths to people that just naturally want. And you can just see the pain from the other side of these students, these people that like have never opened that door. And I've been there in my naivety. Yeah. I've been there in my own traumas. And I've shut that door on God's face for many, many years. And I'm telling you, it was the relationship I saw that I had breakthrough. No religion. It's to me, it's always relationship over religion. Yep. And when it's the other way around, I feel religion it could be that detrimental trauma that keeps you from the actual establishment of relationship and understanding the why behind it all.
That's right.
So it's just an individualized thing. Now religions can be beautifully like strengthening and beautiful experiences, like, but you got to see past, you got to have the resilience to see past the human flaw, right? Because everything, we're faulty and defective. So everything we organize, such as those four walls, is going to be just that. Yep. But he has such just a profound way of talking about the biblical doctrine, and people come from wise angles. Yeah. But it's not like he's punking anyone. Mm-hmm. It's not that he just literally gives, wow, I didn't think of things that way. Really open. So I would challenge someone to watch a lot of his clips. I mean, right here on TikTok, I'm sure he's on a whole bunch of other sources to look up just to make sure, because I've saved so many of his, I believe it is Cliff. Yes, sir. God is. Oh, that's a different one. So go ahead, fill the air with some fluff while
One thing I was just thinking about when we were talking a little bit about the LGBT movement is one of the things that happened in Canada is in the government buildings in Ottawa. They took down the Canadian flag
on the
Parliament buildings and put up a huge LGBT flag. And I was just talking with somebody here in in Arizona, America. And she was saying, that's a good thing because it was June, right, the month of June. But it's like it's all, there's a sense of that's going to be like the globalist flag, like you're taking down the Canadian flag off of the Parliament building, or putting up an huge LGBT flag. Like, is that our country's flag? And the next place that my mind naturally went to, being naturally critical thinkers, sort of like, well, that kind of just seems like unanimously that could be the globalist flag.
Wow, right.
Like, and they wrap it up into sexuality, humanity, spirituality, and it's sort of just like this all-encompassing, every aspect of humanity is represented by this flag in this sense.
Except for heterosexuals.
Except for, I was going to say, God's divine design.
I don't even know I even get confused that I'm normal. There's normal and abnormal. That's all there is. Right. There's male, female, normal, what are you? I'm a male. I'm normal.
Yeah, I'm normal.
Yeah. I'm a normal male.
Yeah. But that's not normal anymore. To be normal is not normal. Like, we always have to reinvent. We're in this phase where we have to constantly reinvent the wheel. Why and now the wheel is square.
Why? Well, that's because they pedestaled entitlement and pride and ego so much that people just want to seem intelligent over like stepping outside the confines of like reality just to seem like an intellectual. Yeah. And or it's like, what? No. And that the root of it is evil and sinful, because it's like pride, ego versus meekness, humbleness,
Yep.
unity, love. And that's where I fail. And it's not Christian. It's Cliff Netchell.
Netchell. Okay.
CliffeKnechettle. Amazing. He does. Wow. It's
I'll have to look him up.
powerful. Be sure to check the comments, folks. I'll add some links in there. And it's been very spiritually enlightening for me. And I believe it will help, because I'm a chimp. And in those situations, I often fail because I can get worked up or I trip over words. But such unique angles and so
Simplicity.
simplistic. Yeah. Lee put.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm just making words up. I'm grateful for that man. I'm grateful for what I've come across, even especially at this time. And there just needs to be more of that.
Yeah.
Like there's just a peace and a beauty to all of that. Like we just need so desperately.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and I think in Canada specifically, like there are some people that are doing really good things. Like, Jordan Peterson.
He's amazing. You'll
He's,
love him.
he's got, he's been fighting a battle here for a long time for us and trying to get truth. And that's what he's about, is truth. Right. And,
Right.
He got sent to a re-education
Get
center,
out.
and they
well,
as
because
far as
he's a psychologist,
yeah.
and so the whatever
To
association,
keep his
the association
status.
of psychologists or whatever, they in order to keep his status, they some mandatory media
Unbelievable.
training
re-education
thing,
of
basically.
kid pronouns and
Yeah, because he won't use
that.
the pronouns, he won't use all that stuff, and so I mean I know he's still fighting that battle, but it's
Wow.
he's
we need to help him end that.
yeah, and and there's he's actually done some interviews with some really young men out there in Calgary. I don't know if they're from Calgary. But there's a couple of young men that basically the one young guy, he was in school and I think college, and he got kicked out for questioning the narrative.
there's two guys,
And
yeah.
then his
two young men.
him and his brother both kind of went out on, and they're just going around preaching God's word to people and trying to.
We need to allow those moments strengthen. Like, because I hate to see that happen, but if 10 more come out from it, so be it, right? And then, they take them 10 down, all right, 100 more. And then just that type of effect, then we could save our fallen comrades.
Yeah. And it's, so there's brave men and women out there right now. And I think, we need to honor those people as best we can and get behind them. Right. And I think that was, through COVID, that was, the biggest challenge was how do we get behind the movements of getting truth out there. Right. And there was some really, really brave people that were standing up against the tyranny in Canada and trying to promote, freedom of choice, freedoms, and we tried to do our part by being part of those rallies, part of those, protests, whatever you want to call them, and
Wow.
It became a part of our life.
well, it's the only thing we could do because we weren't
couldn't do
allowed.
anything.
We weren't allowed in restaurants. We weren't allowed in movie theaters. We weren't allowed.
Not
Anywhere.
having the jab.
No.
Yeah, not having the jab. Yeah,
Our
Like it
entire
impacted,
family
you
never
couldn't
took
even
it.
leave the country.
No,
No, we couldn't do anything.
well, and prior to COVID, we would come down to the U.S. into Idaho for camping, every year, and so we were stuck.
Straight tyrannical.
We were stuck up in Canada for 4 years without being able to come
grocery
down here.
stores even.
Well,
Well,
groceries.
they were talking about not letting unvaccinated people go into the grocery stores, and like I remember just panic and anxiety issues that I've never had before. Like it's still kind of with me now because they would they would talk about, you know, I can't remember what it was now, like Toronto, like unvaccinated people are not going to be able to go to the grocery stores. And when you would hear like these rumors at the time, they were about unvaccinated people and what we were not allowed to do, they always came true.
Wow.
So if they said you weren't allowed to go to the movies or the restaurants, it came true. So why wouldn't we believe that if they're saying we're not allowed to go to the grocery store? Well, shoot, like we're not allowed to go to the grocery store. So we started like stockpiling and really changing our life. We got a self-sufficient truck. We've got a trailer that has like, well, currently one solar panel, but the truck is has a generator, and in case they shut the power down on us, like we were prepared for it to get really, really bad. But our attitude was always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And so, yeah, there was a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of anxiety, especially that our whole family did not take it. Our kids didn't take it. My dad didn't take it. And
as rough as all that was and is, and to hear, because that's obviously next level than what we experienced here. And then there was a level above that, like in Australia, and then above that in other places as well, where literally children were being ripped from their parents' arms and being forced, right? Here in America, I mean, I see a lot of, I get it, but I'd say weak Americans that use the forced, and I'm like, you weren't forced. Everyone voluntarily rolled up their sleeve here. You were manipulated and coerced, and I can't even begin. It's not, I'm not coming from a place of judgment, right? You got to understand, like, I didn't walk in your shoes, and if I did, more than likely it says I probably would have done the same thing you did.
Right.
Like, that's not what I'm saying, but words are supposed to mean something, so let's be real with ourselves.
Yeah.
But that's almost just the stages, right, of the tyranny. It never ends, right? That's what they essentially wanted, and they wanted lifetime of full tyrannical body autonomy, everything. But great blessing, because how eye-opening. Does it seem as though like people are getting around, because the information's out, there's a flood, and there's some people that advocated very strongly for that straight up apologize. Not that it's refreshing to hear.
Right.
It's not like well, I'm calling for everyone to do that. But to acknowledge and understand, like to protect themselves. But there's more to hone in on here. Where, but so like this individual was like, you made the right decision. Obviously we lost. Like this is now, I don't know the outcome, right? That was why. But what that solely exposes is we gotta see those sources that pushed that are the same ones that are pushing the climate hoax, are the same ones that are pushing the rainbow flag, are the same ones that are pushing like my body, my choice, same, like just everything, right? That is
anti-God,
destructive, anti-God, anti-freedom, right? Losing it, just everything.
And it's crazy how you're allowed to have the my body, my choice, with something like abortion that involves another human, but my body, my choice was not allowed with the vaccine, like it's just so
out the gate,
one-sided.
There was like Matt Walsh and other heroes out there on the streets, essentially like, oh yeah, what do you say about that? Oh yeah, force it and whatever. It's like, okay, so what about they blow holes and people are just stumped. They can't. They
can't figure it out.
Once again, it's just bringing back like rational thinking and everything again, which is very difficult. But we're really onto something there, where if people could just connect that one dot is to, wow, okay, don't go back to those sources. If there's anything like we can really push for, is why go back to the empire of lies at all, ever, right? And when it even comes to elections, things like that, I'm starting to see so much live stream and things like that on Rumble. It's like, why wouldn't you just go to these sources? They actually will have journalists out there. They will play clips of even the other newses and everything up live, where you just don't need it. We do not need that at all anymore.
No.
At all.
Well, and I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know in the U.S. what your media, like if your media is paid for by your government. But I mean, obviously there's
like
it
it's
always
proven
Some
like
of it is.
70-80% is coming still from Pfizer right now.
yeah. So
Says
I
it
mean,
all.
there's a lot
Even
of
to Fox.
yeah, and I think
Wow.
I think down in the U.S. where you guys are a lot more funded by, or your media is funded by pharmaceutical companies or big business, big pharma, big
Yeah.
whatever, right? Whereas in Canada, our media is actually funded by our government.
And controlled.
By
Yes.
Trudeau. Yeah,
So
he bought it
Wow.
out. He bought out all the media sources.
well, he's
The talking
yeah.
points are the same. Have you seen it? I've seen one where it didn't just have the talking heads, right? But it showed the talking heads and then the different talking heads saying the same things in
Oh, I've
different
seen that.
countries.
Yeah.
Like and
Yep.
they're literally regurgitating the same narrative,
The
like
same
word
words.
by word.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've seen the ones before where it was just all the different hundreds of stations, but like it was pretty cool to see. Well, it was eye-opening and shocking. It would have been important to see that it was the same from different countries,
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
So to that point, like it shows like there's a globalist and BlackRock, Vanguard, Rothschilds, WEF, UN.
Yep.
Like there's so many connections that are behind the companies, that are behind the government bodies.
Yeah.
Like and it takes no rocket scientist,
Yeah.
right, to really connect these dots and see the level of infiltration and how it's to our detriment and not to our benefit. I just can't believe so much of us that we just drank it up or took it hook, line,
the
sinker
Kool-Aid.
for so long.
Yeah.
Drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Well, and it comes down to what you said, the that frog in the boiling water. You and even though we're smarter than frogs, we're not. We're still susceptible to it. I mean,
Yes.
you just go back to Nazi Germany, right? Like
Right.
how did
How?
a country brainwash all these
Fear,
people
control information, book burn.
into doing the atrocious things that they did.
Right.
How do you get to that point? I
Right.
mean, and we are doing the same thing.
Yep.
It's just in a different way now, right? Like I think our
more
wars now are
digital.
not they're not physical wars, but they're mental wars. And why is it so many?
Right.
Why is our mental health so deteriorated today?
Right.
Right? Because you play with people's minds enough, and they go delusional. They lose.
They
You know,
self-destruct.
Ability.
understanding of what is true and what's not true, right? Like, Jesus said, the truth shall set you free,
Right.
right? Lies bring you into bondage, right? Truth sets you free, lies bring you into bondage. So, you believe enough lies and you become a part of that lie, and you become binded and bonded to those lies. And so, ultimately I think the best thing that can happen is people turn their lives back to God, focus our eyes back on the Savior, and let's get back to a Christian,
Right.
countries or Christian countries that we, our first and foremost is to God and honoring Him, and the rest to me would pan out, right? But
Right.
maybe that's where we're going, maybe that's not, but that's I can see that. And that's one thing through this whole COVID thing that, our relationship with God has, grown tenfold, right? I think we were very apathetic before COVID, to be honest.
That's true.
In
Yeah,
our
me
relationship
too.
with God.
Me
so
too.
this is, so maybe this is
Blessing.
a blessing and an eye-opening for Christians throughout the world. Like, hey guys, let's, we can't get apathetic towards God. The Israelites did it time after time after time, and every time they suffered immensely, right? And maybe this is the suffering that we have to go through because we become apathetic to Him.
It's
Good
wild.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I mean, to try to personalize that, it's interesting. Even being more self-serving before, like, and And it kind of was a dark period. It was hard. It was hard is what it was. And we're shying away from hard things.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, even like from being out of the know and being self-serving and doing all the things of the world, like it just, like I can't even explain it. But on the other side of it all now, I'm so much more at peace and happy, even knowing, oh my gosh, and we're so at the precipice, like you just don't know, and it's so much out of control. It's crazy. Like, I'm so grateful for it all. I'm grateful to have come into the realizations and the feelings I have, because it truly is fulfilling the why, you know, and just bringing all sorts of just meaning.
Yeah.
I think it gave us a sense of identity and confidence, and like if you saw through the lies for 4 years during COVID, well, now you have more confidence in yourself to see other lies and other mistruths and things that you want to avoid, and you have just I that's what I have found for myself during COVID, is just to be like, well, I can see through lies. I have discernment, which built my confidence for whatever they're going to throw at us next. And now I guess it's the economy and all this other wars and LGBT and all this stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, that's, I think, the one thing that came out of it personally for myself. And I just, once you have that ability to see through lies, that's a spiritual gift.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, okay, well, God gave me that gift. Where else can we use that? And to Terry's point, I don't think at this point, I think it's gotten so bad that I don't think it matters who we vote for. I think as a nation, as a country, we've heard a couple of really great pastors say it, like Mark Driscoll's really great, the church that we're going to, and he said, like, we have to repent, we have to turn back to God as a country, as a nation, as a world, as a globally, and that's the solution right there.
That's a thing, the challenge of just giving it all to God, but doing, like, still being plugged in, like doing our part, but we could do it peacefully, like giving it all to God, meaning I'm genuinely okay if we don't turn this ship around. Like, that's out of my control. Right. That's ultimately in God's hands. So if we don't, like it, but I find it so important because war came to our doorstep. I'm going to answer that, you know, like I can't just go cower in the backyard, right? Like I got to address that. But it's just win or lose. Like, that's the beauty. Yeah. That's the beauty of God.
Yeah. And he's ultimately victorious no matter what happens, right?
Well, I think part of why we're at is, like, so many people think that death is the worst thing that could possibly happen to them.
It's not.
And it's like, do you have any idea how much
that's
worse
a realization
that could be?
That's a realization, because before understanding and the faith I have now, it was more flesh-based. Now it's shifted more spiritual. Yep. So I value that spiritual side of things more than the physical life I've been given, because this is just temporary. Like, so there is a grand design. There is meaning behind it all. And he individually fulfills that.
Yes.
Like, magnificently. Like, you can't even describe it.
No.
Yeah. People, like Canadians, Americans, we gotta see it for what it is. We gotta tap into our discernment. We gotta break out of the shell, this curse, this demonic everything. Like, you gotta be able to see, like, open those eyes, use your 2 ears. They're projecting everything they're doing. They're saying they are the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. But they're accusing
They are the gaslighters. They are the extremists.
Yep.
They are the terrorists.
Yep.
Like, you can see it's not even hypocrisy anymore, the hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's the fascism, the communism, the socialism, the Marxism. It's all no good. And they're just trying to line people up and ramp up the fear to where no one is willing to stand up. Surprise yourself.
Yeah.
Speak your truth. Stand your ground. More than likely, you'll surprise yourself. There'll be more strong folks around you in any setting. And I know for me, like if I end up the only one and that's the downfall, like I accept that. So the more we can have that type of peace with this all, like bring it on, right?
And it's, like you said, it's call to action, right? Like we're not, we don't earn our salvation through works, but we are called to action by God. He didn't tell the disciples to sit there and, and let people come to them. He sent them out two by two to go and preach the good news. And that's our call to action, right?
Beautifully
And usually
said.
the right thing to do is the hardest
Right.
thing to
Well,
do. Like
seemingly, sometimes in the moment, it's like the hardest, but the impacts later on could have very well been the easiest thing. It just in the moment.
in the moment, that one choice and that one moment in time where you just give in to something you shouldn't do, or temptation or whatever, and that those choices have ripple effects over legacies over time, and that affects our kids, our grandkids. And I think that we're also part of the problem is that we're in a society where we have tunnel vision and it's just all about ourselves. I can't remember what we were listening to recently where like our grandmother's generation was a lot more concerned about passing on a legacy. I know my family maybe not as much as some other families, but that was still a thing to pass on a legacy. And now it's like I got to spend it all before I die.
All generational wealth gone,
and they don't really think about
own
it's
nothing
just me,
and be
myself,
happy.
and I, and
we were talking about that on the way here. Just it's the whole collapse of the economy or whatever. I just see it. The way I see it is, why are we going into debt? Why is everything going up in price so much? And why is it happening at this particular time? What's the year that they want this to be implemented? 2030, right? 2030, own nothing, be happy about it. How are they going to accomplish that? And to me, it's accomplishing that through inflation. People have to sell their homes. They have to sell everything they have in order to pay for food, to buy food, put it on the table. Once everybody has nothing, you're basically come to their door and you say, here's your allotted money for food, or here's your food stamps or whatever. And at that point, people will be happy that they have food to feed them and not die. Right. And so that's the way I see it. But I was going to say Jordan Peterson said it, I think he says it really well about, what was I thinking here?
He has a psychological perspective.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so,
anyways, I lost my train of thought, but anyways, he's a really good person to listen to, because I think he has a lot of really great things to say about, kind of the state of our, our mental state and stuff like that. And I know it's truth, right? Truth can be hard to say in the moment, you know.
Oh, right.
Right? But the truth, the outcome of truth is always the right outcome.
The right outcome.
Right?
Yeah.
You might feel like if I tell them the truth, they're going to XYZ say this or do this or feel this way. And it might be hard to speak the truth in the moment. But speaking the truth always,
I like that,
has the right outcome.
Right.
You can't and that's very biblical, because truth sets us free, right? So if you lie, you're in bondage. If you say the truth, it doesn't matter what the outcome is, it's the right outcome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Well, singular challenge is right there to walk in truth, stand for truth.
Yeah.
And I love that you brought up that salvation isn't through works.
Yes.
Like that's like I understand that for the first time on a level I never really understood it, and it's a real beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, when you have a relationship with the creator of the universe and his son, your redeemer and your savior, you just want to do good stuff.
Right.
Like you don't even have to really think about it. You just want to, because like if you're in a healthy relationship, like you just, you know, I want to bless my husband. I want to bless my kids because I'm in a healthy relationship with it. It's just innate, actually.
It's kind of why, above all, even if it's almost like two outcomes. We actually right the ship, but we lose God in the process. But everyone lives relatively peacefully free. Or we crash and burn, but a big portion, as things crash and burn, find Christ.
Yes.
I vote that.
Yeah.
Even if I'm horrifically taken.
Yes.
Over this outcome.
Yes.
Like it's so in that sense, I mean, I kind of went there in my mind in a way because it was like I want to do good. I want to end suffering. I want to, you know, see people well and quality of life. And it is interesting because all roads do lead to God, but more than any of it in riding this ship or accountability, anything is people finding that peace and fulfillment for themselves.
Yeah.
Like that's been the ultimate blessing here for me.
Yeah.
You know, and so many.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. There's no, you know, I would rather have the entire world come crashing down and everybody turns to Christ,
right,
than have some fake peace that and nobody is honoring God anymore. Because
again, death is not the worst thing that can can happen to us. Like that was the thing that was so, you know, not to get back on a COVID kick, but that was one of the main things I realized that made me just scratch my head. It's like, well, really? Let's just say this was really, really bad. Like really bad, and you're seeing people dying in the streets. Like, is this how we would want to die? Is this how we would want to treat each other? Like, I would avoid my husband in the hospital in case he gave me COVID.
Right.
Go ahead, give me a horrible flesh-eating disease. I want to be with my husband in his death. Like, how many people have gone back and like when, you know, when it was
such
the flesh-eating disease or whatever, like how Jesus would reach out to them anyways, and either like Mother Teresa or Princess Diana, like they weren't afraid of death. They were, and we shouldn't be, because this is just our vehicle. This is our body while we're on planet Earth for now. And if we're continuously living in lies and spreading lies and making these lies contagious, which they are,
fear.
Then, and we're promoting fear, then we're going to live in an eternity of spiritual death. And that is just so much worse. So is this really what we want to do? Is this really how we want to behave? But a lot of those people believe that after your body dies, there's nothing left. But energy can't be created or destroyed, so it's got to go somewhere.
It's so crazy. Cliff did this amazing thing because there was this gentleman that like, and multiple times, I should just play it because I can't do him justice. I'm like, bruh, and I trip up too much and lose my thought all the freaking time.
Right.
But it's so, like, this kid brought up a really strong, like, well, if God's so, and he was pointing out almost like this mega contradiction, gotcha. Right? Like, if God's so loving, then, you know, the whole heaven hell thing.
Right.
And he just had this beautiful way of being, well, God, like, he went on and expressed, like, how God is love, and essentially heaven is opening up and like joining with being with God.
Yeah.
So it's like And he had a really beautiful way of just explaining, like, you're a beautiful person. You have these gifts. These gifts are from God.
Yeah.
Like, so essentially, it's not just this fiery pit, like hell damnation, as you would, you know, like, oh, okay, so you don't nail it. Like, if God's so loving, why would he, you know, he's there to bring you in and bless you in ways we can't even fathom, but we can see. So it's essentially even you'd be disassociating with the gifts he's already even given you. So in a way, like, whoa, mind warp for me in that moment where it was like, oh, that's, you know, and I'm sure there's like levels, because you might take some of those gifts with you wherever, but to an extent. But I don't even know if that made any sense, but it really became eye-opening and like beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Where the gifts come from and to
Well,
be in alignment with who gave them.
Because it's like
to you.
hell is essentially you're not choosing him, and not being next to that is.
Well, that's hell.
The source of life.
Imagine this world without God at this point in time. Imagine where we would be if it wasn't for, you know, Christ and for, you know, the people. And I would, you know, I'm not going to say every single person that's sticking up against this is, you know, a Christian or believes in God, but I would say the majority of them have some level of faith in that there's a higher power. And I think a lot of people that even weren't Christians before all this have become Christians through this because they've seen the darkness, the devil in all of this. You know, I think of people like, you know, we would in Canada, we would watch a lot of JP Sears and and you know, and his you know, his walk he's come I don't know exactly where he stands, but I think he's
you heard his testimony. His episode. Yeah, that was really good. And it wasn't, I love how open he's like, I wasn't expecting this. But as he's been doing what he's doing, just a very authentic. I'd love to chat with JP
and that's, I mean, I you know, like it's that kind of thing, right? That these people are starting to realize that there's a darkness out there. And so anyways, the people that are speaking up against this have truth in them because God has put it there in them, right? So, and it's, you know, it's basically, you know, hell is being eternally separated from God, right? Like, think about everything that you do that is sinful and against God's will, and you live in a world where everybody's doing that
all the time. Sounds like fun.
And it's like that guy's doing what he wants to do, you're doing what you want to do, he's doing what he wants to do, and guess what? None of it. There's no law, there's no organization. It's each his own. You like think about anarchy at its finest. That's what
because everybody's just doing what's right in their own eyes.
And that's to me that's like if that doesn't sound like hell to me to people, I don't know what you know
does.
And it's not that God's like
without even deteriorating things any worse, and you take God out as it is right here right now, I'd say we're walking in it, you know.
Exactly.
Like
there's days where I'm like, did we miss the rapture? Did we miss
oh no. Oh no.
It's actually gotten that bad where I've met people that actually believe that like it's too late, we're already in hell.
If we missed it, I'm pretty sure he would have made it known to make it just rub it in.
I mean, I say that tongue in cheek, right? But there is an aspect to where we're living right now that feels a lot like hell, and you're like, you know, I mean, but as the darkness grows, you know, the light gets brighter. So, you know, we need to just be that light, I think. So
that's right.
Terry, Nina, you have been insanely insightful. Like, I can feel the fruit of the Spirit just here right now with you guys.
Yeah.
Like, you have a gift. I feel very blessed. I really hope, you know, the listeners, I'm sure some of the listeners it'll be rubbing off on them too. And thank you for taking this opportunity and being vulnerable and being a warrior and stepping up to the plate, you know, in this age, because the reality of it is we need more people to find their courage, fear not, and stand take a
Yeah.
stance.
Yep.
Is there any other things? Because I feel like there's a lot, and I know we're an hour and 38 minutes in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's gone by fast.
But I'd love to have you guys repeating on, come back.
Yeah.
We could do this remote. It'd
Okay.
be nice to adopt you into the America.
Yep.
You know?
I was, just so you know,
Mhm.
I'm just going to say it. You know what I'm going to say. I was born on the 4th of July.
Were you?
And yes. And I
Okay.
think that there should be a law in place that if a Canadian that's born on the 4th of July, I should be just let right on in.
It's like
as long
honorary
as I don't.
doctorate.
Well,
Right?
maybe when President Trump, maybe we could do something
Think of
about
me.
that.
Yeah.
No, that's really
as long
cool.
as I'm not a criminal, which I'm not, then I think I really
Well,
should
you could,
just
you might
walk
be.
across the border.
You might be a criminal in Canada's mind.
For what I'm in Canada's mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we just need more Canadians and Americans, everyone, right? God's children to stand up. Now's the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like build that faith. You'll gain that resilience. He'll listen to the Spirit, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna guide you.
Yeah.
But to help endless suffering, like the last thing, like I just know no one does anything, then it's a very risky thing.
Yeah.
What you're doing here today, right?
Yeah.
But enough, then we don't have to worry,
Yeah.
right? Even with all the faith in the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, the only other thing I just would say is like, I think we need to, if people can keep praying for Canada, praying for,
Oh, man.
especially for,
Our
like
election.
our elections, but also like our, I think our premiers that are doing the right thing right
yes,
now, right?
Daniel
like,
Smith. Yep.
like, Danielle Smith, the whole talk about, indoctrinating our kids and stuff like that. She's putting laws
She's
into place
standing
in
against
Alberta that are
That's awesome.
forcing the schools that they're not allowed to talk about,
No.
teach sexuality until the kids are beyond 16.
Okay.
So, things like that, and she's getting a lot of backlash.
Mm-hmm.
She's, but she's standing up against it, and she's moving things forward. And she was, she apologized to all of the unvaccinated, the people who weren't, didn't get vaccinated, or even the people who did get vaccinated out of,
that's huge.
That was awesome.
And I'm not hearing that because and she's getting a lot of backlash from their bullpen, their war machine, the
Yeah.
megaphone, because they have
The
control
mainstream.
over a lot of the narrative.
Yeah.
That's why we need to effectively have those alternative
Yeah.
areas where we can get truth.
Yeah.
And more Canadians can champion supporting people like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, like she's a lot. She feels a lot like your Ron DeSantis, right?
Yeah.
Standing up,
Yep.
saying no to these things. She apologized to the to the non-vaccinated and the people that were forced to get vaccines that didn't want it,
Yeah.
saying that it was probably the worst case
crime.
of
Yep.
persecution or racism in
History.
Ever in history.
I mean,
ever.
That's exactly
like,
what she said.
well, since she's been alive, like
Since
she's
she's
trying to
been
be
alive,
diplomatic
yeah.
about it, that,
Mhm.
not, obviously the Jews, they had, in Nazi Germany was pretty bad. Like that was pretty bad. I wouldn't have wanted to be a Jew in Nazi Germany, but, she was just saying in her lifetime, which
Right.
is she's not that old, to say that this is the worst thing. And I mean, she got so much backlash from that, saying, how could you say something like that and stuff. Anyways,
Wow.
I just
Yeah.
I just want to encourage, like these are the politicians that are standing up
Awesome.
against the tyranny and trying to bring hope and a some
And what if
resemblance of a
those
future.
governors that are like Ron DeSantis and the premiers that are like Daniel Smith connected more? Right? That just came to me. I don't know, like, and we have
Yeah.
more of these kind of conversations across the border, American, Canadian. I don't know. That just came to me, like, because if there's somebody that can mentor in Canada that can get support from somebody in the U.S., then we're stronger as a continent than we
Canadians,
are as a country.
Americans. I'm not scared I'm at your service. I just want to become whatever's most effective for positive outcomes, right?
Yeah.
And that's where as you head back and you have other Canadians that want to speak, I'd love to platform them here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything truly it could do. I'm trying to help kick off that community, and you never know. It just could be a stepping stone to bigger connections, to bigger calls to action where we gain more proper momentum.
Yeah.
And people are able to, like, enough lead by example. It should start taking off some of that weight where just more and more standing up. Like, it's just
even giving somebody a voice like you are is super healing. You know, it's
like a
it's healing
counseling
for
session.
you. If it's healing for you, it's healing for us. It's like a counseling session.
It's all
It
the
gives-
things.
It gives
Yeah.
voice.
It's humbling. It's fun to go back and listen. We're human. Give yourself grace and all these things. Like, it's just a great experience, right? And it is a huge leap of vulnerability. And I hope a lot of Canadians and everyone can really get behind what guests do here and everything, what you're doing, and just fuel more of it, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Well, with that, any other burning desires?
I think we've covered a lot.
Stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just want to get back here again.
Yep.
I don't
keep it
want
going.
you guys to leave.
Yeah.
Just met you,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
been,
we're grateful too.
yeah, you guys were a huge, I don't even know, bonus. Like, it's just to Resurrection Day. I mean, here today, I truly love you guys. I
Yeah.
do. And it'd be awesome here in the flesh to have greater days and more celebratory moments. But if it ends up being on the other side, it'll be on the other side,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's wild. It's a trip sometimes, but it's moments like this. I'm just grateful for it all. I'm grateful for the struggle. I'm grateful for the battles, because it has strengthened
Yeah.
like our connection
Yep.
to our higher power,
Yeah.
to this loving creator of it all.
Yeah.
And that's just a blessing. And now I'm grateful for, like, I voiced it before, for being birthed in this era. I felt like I was born in the wrong era my
wrong era.
whole life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not built for credit scores and all this shenanigans.
Neither are we.
But yeah, it's like, well, in those more simplistic times, I mean, every era had its challenges, right? But would I have had any faith?
Yeah.
Because it's so black and white. It's
Yeah.
so clear.
It's becoming
And
a lot more clear.
all these atheists and former atheist agnostics, like, they're just admitting it truly took more faith to have that belief than, like, with all the overwhelming evidence biblically.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe we could just even end on that fact that the pastor was talking about. Like, here in America, it takes 2 credible witnesses in a court of law to be fact.
Yep.
2, Jesus had lots, obviously,
Yeah.
to his life.
Yeah.
Credible witnesses. Lots to his death, and over 550 from his resurrection.
Yeah. Over
Like-
whatever it was, 40 days, or it might even be more than that, I think. But
Yeah,
it
like,
was.
that's a lot more than
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
That's all I know. So to look at the facts, the evidence, and this is what Cliff really highlights to a lot. Like, well, prove. Well, I can't prove anything. I can't prove you're even there.
Yeah.
You know? But the evidence says, and he speaks on that, and it's just really, it's just eye-opening.
Yeah.
We cannot draw our fine lines in the sand as though we know it all, and
Yeah.
continually seek. And with that spiritual enlightenment, that's where truth really does, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, really. I'm drawing blank.
Where
Yeah.
the truth sets you free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Support these amazing Canadians, my fellow Canadian brothers and sisters.
Well, yes.
And we're going to have more more and more. So stay with us. Thank you for your support. Love you guys. God bless. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.